You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys. Well, good morning. Well, guys, I'm actually sitting across here from Josh Luck. We are over here at Aquascape and Aqualand, and we're hanging out, learning about ponds. Continuation, you guys just heard from Tony with the lawn care nerd. Is that right, Tony? The lawn nerd, that's right. Tony's hanging right behind us. So we're just hanging out, continuing on. And then Josh and I, we got to become buds this last couple hours. I walked in the facility and literally Greg grabs me. We're hanging out, talking ponds and what's going on for the day. And he's like, hey, I got this guy you got to interview. You got to hear his story. He was a lawn care bro, turned landscaper, turned pond installer. Everything's going crazy for you. So that is my boy Josh over here. So give these guys like the 2-minute highlight reel, man. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, Brian, thanks for having me, man.
Here, pull the mic in just a little bit there. And there you go, brother.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Awesome.
There you go. We're professionals.
Thanks for having me on the show, Brian. I appreciate it.
Yep.
So I got in the industry at the age of about 14 years old. I was a startup entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. I sold candy at school to the kids to try to take the vending machines out of business. And then I cut grass, down the street, shoveled snow down the street, all that jazz. And then when I turned 18, I actually signed myself out of high school, started my business the next day. And then the rest was really history, right? I didn't have much experience. I just knew that I needed to do lawn, I needed to do landscape, I needed to do snow. That's what, the industry kind of told me. So that's what I got started in. I remember I was 18 years old. I was living in a trailer park at that time, and I found a 1988 Bunton 52-inch walk-behind mower, and I could get that mower around a trailer in one swipe and cut their grass. And I passed out flyers, black and white flyers in the trailer park and cut grass for $7. And that was really the start of getting into the industry on my own and starting my business. Fast forward to where we're at today, we're a residential design build company. We focus on high-end residential landscape. We do outdoor living areas, hardscaping, landscaping, and Aquascape has been a phenomenal asset to our client base and to our services. So when we're doing high-end residential landscape jobs now, we're incorporating ridiculous water features, ponds, pergolas, patios, etc. into these features. So really having a lot of fun with it now, really passionate about it, and really over the last 15, 16 years of being in the industry, just collected a wealth of information and knowledge through really trial and error.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So, and you have a great testimony personally and business-wise. I mean, like, we're getting to know each other as well, and you're a believer, and you've just got just a great life going on now. There's a bunch of work that you do, in ministry and stuff as well. And so let's open up that 15-year window. So you have another guy here with you. His name is Jason, right?
Yes, sir.
He's your right-hand guy.
Yep.
So what does the business look like 10 years ago? What was your focus? And then take me through the evolution, because from what I understand, you were doing a bunch of mowing and the typical landscaping work. Then did you evolve to hardscaping, and now you're exclusively doing water features, or is that an addition to the hardscaping work that you're doing?
Yeah, so kind of track with you. We started just cutting grass, and then we got into, trimming bushes, doing mulch, and then it was, very small scale landscape stuff because we were more focused on the weekly mowing, weekly maintenance, right?
Okay.
And it wasn't until probably about 5-6 years ago, I met my partner walking into the post office one day. I seen a guy had a nice truck. He had some equipment on it. I could recognize he was another lawn industry guy. So we started chopping up a little bit, and that was my partner, Jason. He was running a lawn care operation with about 50, 60 accounts at the time.
Okay.
We were really struggling to kind of formalize our lawn division amongst doing landscaping and doing mulching and trimming and hardscaping. And we started evolving with the industry, doing everything and anything for anybody just to try to stay busy. And then it really wasn't until we really started looking more and learning more about our business and the numbers that we really started realizing that there were certain aspects of our business that just weren't as profitable and weren't as efficient as we would like. So we started taking a look at maybe removing certain services, maybe refocusing away from the common lawn, landscape, snow guy. So I remember the day we had a team meeting. At that point, we were cutting grass. It was $30 to come cut your grass.
Okay.
Right. And at that point, it's so cutthroat. Like,
Yep.
I remember going in and telling the guys, we're going to raise our prices to $35.
Sure.
And they all, like, my main guy freaked out. He's like, there's no way. There's no way we're going to raise prices $5. And I'm like, listen, every time we show up to this lawn for $30, we're on this property for 30 to 45 minutes with 2 guys.
Yep.
By the time we add up our cost, by the time we learned our numbers, we realized that, wow, every time we show up to Sally's, we actually lost $5 to $10 to $15, $20.
Sure.
So we started realizing we needed to raise our prices, and then that slowly evolved from the $30. And I came into the office about a month after our meeting, and I said, 35 isn't cutting it.
Right.
You know, I said, guys, we're going to have to do a minimum of $50 per lawn.
Sure.
And my manager freaked.
Okay.
He was a commercial lawn maintenance guy, been in the industry over 20 years. All he did was cut grass. And really, what he understood was we were getting ready to lose majority of all of our clients.
Right.
So, for instance, we had 50 clients. They were paying us $30 to mow their grass. We had $1,500 in sales.
Yep.
Right? So we sent out letters to everybody. We said we're raising prices to 50.
Yep.
And 3 people left.
Okay.
So now we have 47 clients.
Yeah.
Who are paying us 50.
Yep.
We're doing over $2,000 a week now in sales, and we're working less.
Yeah.
I said, this is the ratio that we need to start following. So
a healthier business.
Healthier business.
For
so,
sure.
You know, my passion is really design, landscape design, creation, working with clients, creating the ultimate outdoor living area. That's what I'm super passionate about. So as we started progressing through and doing everything, we realized that we really weren't good at anything, and we really weren't profitable at anything.
Well, say that one more time. So what did you just say? Because that's a key thing right there.
So we were trying to do everything, and we really weren't good at anything.
Okay.
And while we were trying to do everything, we weren't profitable at any of it.
There you go.
And I think that's something that in our industry is so cliche.
Yep.
You know, it's so, I have to have the lawns, I have to have the maintenance, I have to have the snow business, I have to do this. And ultimately, I don't think many business owners or entrepreneurs in our industry really get down to the numbers and to the business of the business to really figure out how much is our cost per minute.
Yeah.
With equipment,
for you
with
and your guys.
Overhead, not paying a guy under the table, but paying a guy on payroll. You know what I mean? Like, so these guys could collect unemployment and didn't have to like scurry around in the wintertime when there wasn't snow.
Exactly.
Like, I started learning from some guys that were further along, that were making changes and adjustments. And I said, one day I walked in, I said, Jason, we're going to eliminate our entire lawn operation. We're going to eliminate our entire maintenance operation. We're going to eliminate our entire snow operation.
Sure.
At that point, we were doing about $500,000 in sales.
Okay.
And $250,000 of it was lawn and snow operation.
So you're thinking about axing half of your business.
We did.
Wow.
We did. And I remember that feeling of the comfortability and the stability of waking up every day and having those 12 to 15 accounts to go mow.
Yep.
And that was like clockwork. I could count on that 28 weeks, 32 weeks out of the year. It was consistent money. But again, after we did that $100,000 in sales, the net on that was 5 to 10%.
Sure.
And it wasn't paying the bills.
Sure.
So we realized that, you know what? We were really struggling because we had majority of our resources tied up in a lawn and maintenance division, and our most profitable work was landscaping.
That's such an interesting story and evolution too. Cause we were just talking with Tony, who's sitting right behind us, hanging out, and we were just talking about how he's looking to make the jump right from some weekly mowing accounts, 25 to 40 accounts, to do landscaping, potentially with the aquascape, products and services, right? And I've always been a big proponent of saying the mowing is the weekly pay the bill money.
Bread and butter.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's, in my business, we're doing about 800 to 1,200 a day in mowing. So I'm all in on mowing, right? So we actually cut out pruning, irrigation, residential mulch. I'll do commercial mulch. And we do flower installs and then aerations and overseeding.
So stop there. But why did you do that?
Same thing, exactly what you said. I had realized what's my bread and butter, because 10 years ago, 5 years ago even, I was doing just mowing, but not profitable mowing. We didn't know our numbers. We didn't know our rates. Then I realized, well, instead of growing from, we had 120 accounts. So instead of growing to 200 accounts, I just realized if I moved laterally, horizontally, and we added a couple services, there's another 20, 50, 100,000 easily sitting on the table. Probably $250,000 if we wanted to get aggressive. But then I just said, well, you know what? Before we do that, why don't we actually just take the 120 accounts and bring them up to a fair market rate? So my business, literally, and this is just my story, we were under 30% of where we should have been on all pricing across the board.
Right.
I just didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
So this last 3 years, I actually kind of pumped the brakes and I said, well, instead of getting more customers, instead of going horizontal and getting more services, let's just fix the sprained leg. Okay, like we gotta kind of re-break it and set it and do surgery here.
It hurts.
And it hurts because like you said, every time you raise those rates for those customers, 10% fall off. And so I'm turning this aircraft carrier. Now it's two things are going on for us. We've got, I'd say, most of our pricing at where it needs to be. There can always get some better pricing, of course, but the new people we're signing up, right, are at a 30, 40, 50% premium.
Right.
Compared to my old customers. So when somebody falls off, I'm like, dude, no big deal.
Right. I'm
going to replace you with the new retail paying customer.
Isn't that the beauty of being selective?
Oh, 100%.
About what you're doing. And I think what I hear in both of what we're saying is that it's not one way is right, one way is wrong.
Right.
It's you have to commit all of your time, effort, and energy and resources, not in all, but in one.
Yes.
And if you focus in just the one,
Yep.
that should be able to sustain enough for you not to have to do anything and everything.
Well, that's where my company, it's Brian's Lawn Maintenance. So what do you think we're doing?
Lawn maintenance.
There you go. And I know other guys, and I get it. They're like, hey, there's no money in mowing. And the way some people are doing it, I understand that. But that's not how I'm running my business.
Why do they say there's no money in mowing?
Well, because the way they're, just like you said a minute ago.
Because there's not for them.
There isn't, because of the way their business is set up.
Right.
Like you said, they're doing a little bit of everything and they're spread thin. And I have a guy that listens to the show, and really good guy. I know him. He actually, but I know where he mows. He mows in 5 different towns where I live. Mm-hmm. And I only know that because he told me where his routes were. 8 hours later, I was actually mowing my property. 8 hours later, he drives by me on the road where I go into my subdivision where I currently live in my apartment. And I'm like, and I saw his whole rig over there. And I facepalmed, because if he's mowing back where my new property is a half hour away, he told me he goes a half hour north of there, a half hour south of there. And he goes, yeah, and I go about a half hour east. My current apartment is a half hour east. I'm like, bro, this guy's in this 4-pointed star
Shotgun.
thing. Yeah. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, I'm not making any money. And I'm like, shocking. Now, you guys, a lot of you guys listening in, maybe you're new to the show, maybe you're not, but like I'm in 4 or 5 subdivisions, and we're mowing 28 to 32, 34-ish lawns per day. Right. So we drop the gate, we mow 15, 18 lawns, hit lunch, 15, 18 lawns. We're done by 4 o'clock.
Right.
But Rob and I have had to, one of my guys, Rob, we had to really focus on what are we good at? What's our strength?
Right.
Get our pricing to where it needs to be.
Right.
And it's been a very profitable mowing operation. But I feel like I'm I don't want to say like the exception to the rule, because you can make money mowing.
You can.
Absolutely. I still believe that. It's just I'm also not naive enough. And I also don't want to confuse anybody or discredit running a successful landscaping company. I mean, there's so we were just talking about that with Tony 2 minutes ago. You get the mowing account to get the mulch. You get the mulch account to get the patio. Right, and I think that's one of the things that maybe you guys have realized the last few years too.
Well, and I think that's what your mind automatically goes to. And what we found was absolutely crazy is that all of our lawn maintenance customers that we had for 7, 8 years, we did not do any large-scale landscaping projects for.
So they were just mowing only.
They were all So what we realized is that our niche market, the higher-end landscape, was not even the maintenance clients that were. Typically, it's the person that either has a different company mowing their grass, they're cutting their grass, and they're dropping a lot of money in their backyard. So I just started seeing these things, these trends that kind of went against the culture.
Yep.
And then when I see you and doing maintenance, I kind of see the same approach that I took in landscaping. Mm-hmm. It's the difference is in how you present yourself, the value that you provide, the brand that you have, what you look like, the customer service that you have. So the guys that are struggling and can't raise prices $5, they don't have the Apple brand.
Right.
They don't have the nice, clean trucks. They don't. So there were little things that made such a huge impact for me and my business early on.
Yeah.
Whether it was just presentation, whether it was just customer service and communication. And those really set me apart from all those $25, mow guys.
Amen. And you have to in this market today. And not only that, people want to spend money with people they like, they trust.
Absolutely.
I know sometimes the podcast kind of sometimes can get repetitive. You guys have been listening for a year or two, but it's the same business success principles still ring true. Like we just got to know each other today. You probably haven't listened to every 275 episodes, but ironically enough, you're saying the same. Success leaves clues is what I always say, right? So what area of what city or where are you guys at again?
So we're out of Sylvania Township.
That's right. That's right.
Off Toledo, Ohio.
So you guys are focusing on the hardscaping, the landscaping. It sounds like patios. Where does the aquascape puzzle piece? Because you're here for today and tomorrow for the 2-day class and seminar. So you're here. You're paying to play. You're here on your money, your dime, your time. And you were actually here a couple weeks ago. Is that right?
Yeah. So this is the second time we've come back for this specific event. This is our third time at Aquascape.
So Greg didn't scare you away the first time?
No, and we pay to play every time because it's an investment that we're willing to make.
Amen. Amen.
That's for sure. I'm a firm believer in the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Creating the opportunity for family and friends to spend time to gather around and creating those spaces.
Yeah.
So for me, we had been doing hardscaping for years now because we evolved with the industry. So pavers, patios, outdoor kitchens, retaining walls, that stuff has been within our wheelhouse. High-end landscaping, lighting. We started being the complete package.
Cool.
But what we did is we had to create a niche business model.
Okay.
So we went from serving 100 clients a year to serving 10.
Wow.
We went from doing 100 to 1,000 to $2,000 jobs to only doing 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 jobs.
Sure.
But it's a completely different business model and a different approach, and you have to put all of your time and effort into trying to be that company then.
Let me ask you this. What's your best piece of advice? It doesn't have to be like, this esoteric thought, but what's your best piece of advice to somebody who is trying to bridge the gap, right? From they've got 20, 50 mowing accounts and it's the whole like trapeze thing, right? They have to let go of the first rope to get to the second rope. Or were you able to monkey swing from one bar to the other? Because there was a point, obviously you had said that you and Jason, your right-hand guy, he's your foreman of your mowing division.
Yeah.
You were like, hey, we're not mowing anymore.
Yeah.
As what you told me at the sandbox.
Yeah.
And Jason was like, what?
Because that was he was going to stick around.
Well, yeah, like he's his bread and butter. That's his job.
Right.
So he's like, am I getting fired? Like, what was that conversation and what time frame was that? Was that a year ago, 10 years ago?
So that was about 3-4 years. That was about 4 years ago. And really, I'm building a team, and I think it's important for entrepreneurs to hear this, is that you're a leader if you're the business owner.
Yep.
And really, you're building a team. It's the most important thing to anything. You can have all the systems, all the procedures, all the knowledge, but if you don't have a team, you're not going to be able to get any of it done. So really what I found in Jason was the start of a firm foundation and a team. And my commitment to him early on was, listen, we're going to evolve and we're going to change and we're going to grow because we're not going to stay where we're at.
Sure.
Okay? I'm committed to you, and if you'll commit yourself to me, then I'll work my butt off every single day to make sure you and your family are taken care of.
Amen.
And you can count and rely on that. And if you'll make the same commitment to me and you'll have a little bit of faith and a little bit of trust, I said we'll have the ingredients that we need to have a good relationship.
And how long has he been with you, by the way?
8 years. Now this is crazy because Jason had a 60 account lawn mowing operation.
Yeah. What happened with that?
Okay, so literally he had the grasshopper mower, the truck, the trailers, the blowers. He had all this equipment.
Okay.
And I want him, and this is something too for entrepreneurs that we struggle to find good employees. I'm a firm believer in recruitment.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that if there's guys out here in the industry that can prove that they're working every day, they have a good work ethic, they can get stuff done, they're hungry, then maybe talk to them, take them out to lunch, get to know them a little bit. Because when I got to know Jason a little bit, he was right where I was at in the beginning.
Sure.
And he was right where most lawn guys are at today. He was working his butt off, taking it all home with him at the end of the day. He wasn't very profitable. He had the IRS coming after him for last year's taxes.
Sure.
Because in business, when you're starting out in business, you're always, by the time the IRS and the government catches up, they want last year's taxes that you didn't pay. And then you start getting in this cycle of working all year to pay taxes from last year, but still accumulating all of this tax debt from this year.
And fees and interest.
Yeah, fees and interest.
I feel like almost everybody's been there once. And if you say you haven't, you lie about other things too.
Absolutely.
Like straight up, Liz and I have been behind, like, this is like 6-7 years ago, but we were behind a quarter, and then like our taxes were due, and we owed like 2 G's, dude. It was like, looking back on it, it was like, might have been $20,000 in today's money, right? But $2,000 or whatever we owed, I was like, dude, we don't have that. And then we had a little 4-month payment plan, and I'm like, this is embarrassing and stupid. We're like grown ass adults, 28 years old, and we were figuring it out.
That's the business side of it that most guys in our industry are lacking. The business knowledge.
Amen.
So for me, it was like, the advice that I have to give would be, don't try to be everything that you don't have to be. Figure out what you're really good at. For me, I was really good at selling jobs, working with clients. What I was terrible at was paying bills. What I was terrible at was paying my taxes.
There you go.
What I was terrible at was accounting and bookkeeping.
Yep.
What I was terrible at was all of the back end stuff. So you know what I did? Is I found mentors and I found team members that I could say, hey, you help me with this area. Because I don't need to spend all my time trying to learn in this area. Because I don't want to do the books. I don't want to have to worry about the bills. Like, I'm going to send you the bills. You just make sure the bills are paid. I'm going to go out there and get to work and make sure checks are coming in the bank.
So let me ask you this. How many episodes of no right or wrong answer? How many episodes of our podcast have you listened to?
I have not listened to one.
The folks listening in are going to chuckle because you have said exactly what I have said the last 250 podcasts verbatim. That was exactly my story too. I was a professional debt collector. I was not good at my books. I was good at mowing and good at selling, front of the house kind of a guy. But the foundation of the home was built on toothpicks, whatever, house of cards, right?
You were holding it together.
We were robbing Peter to pay Paul, every day. And my only saving grace probably for a good 2-3 years in business, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, was the fact that Liz, my wife, was making $800 a week. And that was paying the little Mickey Mouse payroll that we had for a couple guys back then and helping put gas in the mowers until I got, half of my money that was due to me at the end of the month from invoicing. You know how it goes. You're laughing.
You don't even get paid for cutting this grass. It's oh my gosh, it's comical.
I was just doing a coaching call with a guy the other day, and he was talking about cards on file. His name is Vince, and he's over in, actually, Vince and Mike, I forget. Actually, I talked to both of them, but they're in Jersey. Shout out to them. They listen to the show. And I was talking about, I went to a credit card on file when we're done mowing. We do end of month billing. And I was willing to lose half of my business when I moved to a charge card on file system because we weren't getting paid for the first half, like half of it anyway. So people are like, well, you're going to lose half your customers moving to a charge card.
I ain't getting paid.
I ain't getting paid for the first half anyway, bro. Like, and my friend Mike that was out there, he's got a chunk that's owed to him too. And I said, I'm like, you having a good year? He's like, having a good year. I said, it'd be nice if you had this chunk, like a chunk in your account right now. He goes, yeah, that's what I'm working on for 2020, the winter right now is getting all these, he's got like 600 FERT customers, getting them
it's
all.
It's like 50 to 100 grand, just never getting paid all the time.
That's basically the range. And he's a great dude. I mean, like, I'm definitely not throwing him under the bus, nothing like that. Great guy, but he's in that boat right now too, where he knows that's one of the things that was his homework.
All businesses.
Yeah, solving problems. Right? That's it. And I'm so excited for him because when we got off the call, it was like almost 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like shadow boxing, fist bumping in the air. I'm like, let's do this thing, bro. And he's like, and he's just like he's just an animal of a dude, and he's a really cool guy. And he's like, bro, we could talk for another hour. I'm like, I would love to, but I got to put my baby down for bed, you know? So Liz came in and she's like, are you going to talk to people all night? And my hour coaching calls seem to always last like 2 hours because I just get all fired up talking to people and just like this on the podcast.
Passionate, man. I love it.
Well, let me ask you this. We'll probably button up right here because I think a couple people are headed out. I'm probably actually going to be headed to bed here soon. I've been up since 3 a.m. actually plowing snow. So yeah, so I was out there from 3 to 8 a.m. this morning. Then
awesome.
Then caught a jet. Then hanging out here with you guys all day, which has been just. It's always fun getting around winners and other great people.
Hold on, man. Pause for a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
There's something in that, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what it takes.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, you know what I'm saying? I got a baby girl that I want to take care of and a wife that I absolutely I meant to say this at our live event we did, and people said, you look really tired lately. And I said, yeah, but you know who isn't? My wife.
Right.
I said, my wife has been able to sleep in. My baby's able to sleep in. Right. We retired my mom. If you guys were at our live event, you heard me say a year ago we retired my mom. She's not like making $10,000 a month on the payroll, but enough. She's retired, so we pay her a payroll salary. And then my wife's mom, my mother-in-law, she was working at a retail store unloading box trucks, semi trucks. From 4 a.m. to 11 a.m. was her shift, and 30-degree temperature, semi trucks unloading retail. And I said, what the hell? This is ridiculous. So we figured out what she makes per month, and we retired her about 2 months ago too. So
she's working with you as well.
So they're all on the
blessing.
They're all on the docket, bro.
It's a blessing.
So for you guys that listen into the show and the sponsors and the affiliate codes and the YouTube views, like. It's not to go by Lambos and Ferraris. I maybe one day we'll get there, but in the meantime, it's literally so my mother-in-law can be a full-time grandma to my baby girl. Yeah. My mom can be a full-time grandma to her granddaughter, and my wife can have some help and support around the house, and we can raise our kid right and put good values into her because mommy's home and daddy can work part-time with this thing, and that's what it's all about. I mean, we're all
the American dream.
Come on, it's still alive. It's still alive.
If you're willing to go after it.
That's it. So let me ask you this. Quick, maybe last like nugget or two or takeaway. But what's some thoughts that you want to leave these guys with? You've had this great breakthrough this last few years. Seems like Aquascape's been a good blend for your portfolio. So anything that you want to maybe share with these guys before we kind of button it up?
Yeah, I'll just leave with an analogy because I think it applies to just about everybody if they really do a deep dive. But there was an analogy that I heard about a guy that wanted to buy a new car. And he'd go every day after work to his house. And he'd tell his mom, I'm getting ready to buy a new car. It was Steve Harvey.
Okay. And
he'd go home, he'd tell his mom, I'm going to buy this new car. I'm going to buy this new car. And his mom would never say anything to him. And 4 weeks go by, 5 weeks go by, and every week he's telling his mom, and she's giving him no response. So about the 6th week, he's getting frustrated. And he's like, Mom, I'm about ready to buy this new car. But why aren't you giving me any feedback? She said, because you got that old beat-up car that's been sitting in our driveway with flat tires, leaking oil, that don't run and don't move. Boy, until you get that car gone and out of here, you don't have room for a new car. Mm. And then it hit me. I was like, wow. So I think a lot of times we want we want more. Mm-hmm. We want better, which I think is good. It's part of the blessing of life, right? Yeah. Wanting more. But I think there's a certain responsibility that we have to make room for more. And I think each of us in our own business, in our own way, shape, or form, that's where it's up to us to take that first action, to take that first step. And sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's, Xing out of the vision. Sometimes it's raising prices across the board. Sometimes it's refining your work. Sometimes it's going to take, take some time off so you could learn, so you could grow, so you could develop. But we all have an old beat-up car sitting in our driveway somewhere, some shape, somehow.
Amen.
So that's what I'd leave with everybody. And, man, I appreciate you. Yeah. It's been a blessing just to get to know you a little bit, and I look forward to connecting with you some more, man.
Well, like I said, when I came in earlier today, I'm like fresh off the plane. I'm like, bloodshot eyes. I'm trying to catch a cat nap. Greg Greg's like the guy that like grabs your helmet at football practice, you know,
bangs it together.
Yeah, he's just like, do you not understand the play? And like, he's just an animal, and I love hanging out with Greg because Greg's like my alter ego. Like his external energy is like my internal energy. Yeah. He's 100% extrovert. I'm 100% introvert, but it's a great kind of tandem there because he's an awesome dude. And I walk into the facility, he's like, you got to meet this guy Josh. And I'm like, all right, like where's he at? And I didn't even know you were the dude he was talking about until we were hanging out, and we just kind of gravitated towards each other. We were just talking while Brian was digging holes, you know, putting the pond in, and we were getting to know each other more. And then it was probably about 20 minutes went by, and Greg comes up and he goes, "Oh, I'm glad you met Josh. This is the guy I was telling you about." And I'm like, dude, like way to introduce me, bro. But like, I'm glad that we got to catch up for 20 minutes. And I'm like, dude, we got a podcast later tonight. So we're actually recording this late night because who knows what's going to be going on tomorrow. It's going to be another whirlwind. Where can people find you if they want to catch up with you? Are you guys on social or Facebook?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook. We're working on getting our own YouTube. And I look forward to coming back and just sharing some more with your guys too.
I appreciate it. You on Instagram or anything?
Yeah, Instagram, Luck Landscaping.
Luck, L-U-C-K?
Yep.
Luck Landscaping. And then what's your last name?
Josh Luck.
Well, sharp as a tack.
Try to keep it simple.
You know what I'm saying, brother. Well, all right, guys. Well, follow Josh if you guys haven't on Facebook and Instagram. I think you guys will really enjoy the quality of work he does, the content, and the mindset. By the way, not just successful and been blessed lately a lot in life, or I should say with his business, but also in life too. You got a lot going on there, and you were sharing me some really cool kind of preview stuff. And dude, you're a winner, bro. Like I'm fired up for you. So keep doing what you're doing.
I love it. I love to be in the presence of other winners.
Iron sharpens irons over
here.
That's
it.
All right, guys. Well, we'll button up right here, over and out from Aquascape and Aqualand. If you guys haven't been able to check out the most recent vlog that we dropped, building the pond over here at Aquascape, I think you guys are definitely missing out. You got to go check out YouTube, check out the video we did. Josh might even be in the video a little bit here and there as well. So we'll button up right here, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Peace out.
Ratings and reviews. Each week, we take a minute to highlight your guys' reviews of the show.
And our first review is simply titled 5 stars. Awesome show. Keeps me motivated to learn and do better in my business. We've tripled our business in less than 2 years, thanks to Brian. That comes from Reed Seiler. Trey Uter, I think that's how I say it, writes, keep it up. Always great content. Always something to laugh about and think about. Great balance of information and entertainment. Mr. Producer is definitely the best in the business. Thank you, Trey. He puts the plus in the A+ podcast. Trey, by the way, is down in Australia, assuming I said his name correctly. Our next one is just solid podcast. As someone who works in the landscape industry, I love listening to different takes on ways to do things. Thanks for all you do. That's courtesy of Unit Trip 0001, or should I say just Unit 0001. Alex says the show has changed the way I run my business. The Brian and Mr. Producer combination leads to a showcase of what a business should look like. Let me say real quickly, I appreciate all the bones you guys throw me, but Brian does the hard work. What I do is just minuscule compared to the effort he puts in. All right, getting back to the review, Brian's full of info that has changed the way I think about business and handling our customers. The podcast keeps me engaged while mowing, keeps me focused and motivated to continue refining every detail so that I can go out there and crush it in my business. I've listened to hundreds of hours of this podcast and others in the green industry and appreciate the hard work that goes into it and the dedication to the listeners that both Brian and Mr. Producer put forth to get this show out Monday, Wednesday, Friday without fail. You know he's a fan of the show. Keep up the great work, and I look forward to listening to hundreds of hours more. That is Alex with Blades LLC. You guys have a super productive day, and do yourself a favor and pick up the whole ball of wax over at LaunchpreneurAcademy.com before that 20% discount disappears like your wife's car keys. Yeah, she can remember what you did 3 years ago on a Friday night at the poker party, but has no idea where the keys are.
Want us to read your review next? Let us know how we're doing, and we might just read your review on next week's show.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, No one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.